Afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are dialing in from. We are excited to be here today because this is a baby glimpse at what's going to be happening soon at the IBPSA 2020 conference. And today, I'm excited to have my good buddy Stephanie with us, and she is kind of going to lead the pack here, no pun intended, but she's going to lead the pack. And I've also got Tabitha Davies, who is going to talk about FAS, and stick around to find out what FAS is, because right now with all the things going on in the world, FAS is very, very important to understand and to be able to minimize and eliminate. So with that, Stephanie, I'm going to give it to you.
Wonderful. Well, thanks very much. You can see Tabitha Davies on our screen, right this way, that way, whichever way it is. I am really excited. Tabitha, I don't think we've had the opportunity to meet face-to-face yet, and this is as face-to-face as we can get right now. So thank you so much for joining us. So why don't you tell us a little bit? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from, and what do you do?
So I am actually a certified professional dog trainer and an associate certified dog behavior consultant. And I'm also fear-free certified. And we are located in Sky Valley, which makes sense to nobody, but we're out by Palm Springs in Southern California.
Ah, so you didn't have the big long flight to the IBPSA conference last year?
No, I had like a 10-minute drive. It was great.
Nice.
Wonderful. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what you're going to be talking about at this year's IBPSA conference?
So I'm super excited to be able to present on the topic of fear, anxiety, and stress, short form is FAS, because especially right now, dealing with, quarantines and shutdowns and everybody's, kind of change in their lifestyle, the fear, anxiety, and stress levels that our animals experience, and it's primarily, thought of as being just for dogs, but it can be cats, pigs, horses, goats, chickens, all of them, that experience levels of stress with the fact that, we're either home a lot less or we're home a lot more, and it's something that they're not used to. In addition to changes that maybe they're not going to daycare as frequently, or they're going more so because owners need them out of the house because they have to work from home, so they need their dogs to be able to be well cared for and occupied. And the stress that people have too can also impact the animal, and being able to understand what it is, how to identify it, and how to mitigate it can be just absolutely liberating for the animal.
Actually, I'd love to jump in with a question, since you're down near Palm Springs, and right now we're dealing with a lot of very stressed out animals due to the fires going on the West Coast. And that's why I was really excited to hear about your topic, and the fact that you're going to be doing a very in-depth talk at the conference itself. So if people haven't registered, I highly encourage you to go to petcareconference.com. That's petcareconference.com. Go ahead and get your tickets now, because we've got fabulous speakers like Tabitha. And with the fires that are going on, the first day that we had our big breakout here, I went down to the fairgrounds. There were a lot of displaced animals, and the thing that I did, other than hauling food, hauling water mostly, and hay and bedding, I went around and talked to the animals and just said, I know that you're afraid right now. And it's a real issue that a lot of us are dealing with, and we're not quite sure the best way to handle the situation. So what are a couple of tips that you could give to people, whether it's through being home too much, being home not enough, the fires, the pandemic, all of that? What are a couple of tips you can give the pet people, and how can they really take care of horses, cows, chickens, dogs, cats, all of that?
So the first thing that I would recommend, if we're more on the topic of being home more and kind of adding that little bit of extra stress on our dogs if they're home with us, is to amp up simple enrichment activities. Things that, I know this is totally Stephanie's department, amping up things that they can, work their brain on, that they can, do food puzzles. They can have to, find their food throughout the home instead of just eating out of a bowl. Using a licky mat. If you know that your dog gets agitated like halfway through a Zoom meeting, you can fill up a licky mat with something that they like, be it gravy, broth, yogurt, peanut butter, honey, and set it down on the floor near you so that they can lay down, relax, and actually lick away, which is a soothing activity from being, right in your proximity, but without getting to the point where they're now pacing and agitated because you're not paying attention to them, or they might need to do something else, or they're bored. For horses and livestock, it's a little bit different. So I like to make popsicles, which is basically taking a container. I'll usually use Gatorade or like an electrolyte supplement for horses, dilute it and pour that in. So it's different flavors, and mix it. Sometimes I'll mix it with Jello and freeze it, give it a little bit thicker consistency, and put chunks of apples and carrots in it. Once it's frozen with a little piece of baling twine in it, take it outside and tie it up. So if we're having to do something and we know that they're getting antsy, if we're getting, horses trailered and those stress levels are going up because we have to evacuate somewhere, having popsicles on hand, even if they're small, to tie up and give them to kind of mess with, it's usually just enough for them to focus on, to take the edge off of the fact that, if you have a mare, that might be a little different. But to take the edge off of the fact that everybody's kind of running around and doing a bunch of different things.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
Right. Now, having said that, I mean, when you're talking about people being home more and things like that, do you think, like, based on the presentation that you're going to give at this year's IBPSA conference, do you think that this might be of interest to pet owners, not just pet professionals?
Yeah, so I mean, it's targeted to, the concepts of daycare and boarding for multiple species. However, everything that is discussed can absolutely be translated into the at-home life for both in-home pets and livestock.
Right, because we're seeing a lot of people, I mean, in the work that I do, sometimes I'll see a major behavioral shift just because somebody moved the furniture around in their living room.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So I'm thinking, we had I know that some of our pet parents are on watching this live right now. I'm thrilled to see our clients here. And then I'm like, you know what? It might not just be the pet care professionals that would get a lot out of this conference, and specifically the FAS talk that you're about to do. It could be some of the pet parents, because we have, such a breadth, I guess, of individuals speaking at this conference. And the FAS topic, I think shelter workers, I think, animal rescue groups. I mean, these are high stress animals that could really use, I guess, some of your guidance and expertise in this area. So
absolutely.
Can you explain to me quickly, like, what is the premise of fear-free? For those of you watching at home, for the people, what is fear-free exactly? And because I know that there are some fear-free kennels and fear-free. Yes. What is that? Can you tell us what that is?
Fear-free is through fearfreepets.com, and it's programs that you can take to be certified. And they don't have a daycare and boarding section, which is why I've kind of done this with them. And when it comes to fear-free, it means that everything from the aesthetics of the environment to the activities within the environment to how we handle, dog to dog or cat to cat or dog to people, cat to people, etc. interactions are done with a constant assessment of the dog or the cat or any other animals levels of stress, so that we're trying to mitigate those so that the animal has more of a choice and more of a say in everything from their veterinary care to their grooming to their training. So that we're participating with them and not putting them in situations where they're being placed over threshold, they're having to have adrenaline or cortisol increases in their body.
Now, you would have a lot of experience with this, because prior to this life, you were a registered veterinary technician and spent for 4 years, right? And a certified vet assistant?
Yeah, so I started working at 2 clinics that both are not open. One turned into a VCA. For about 4 years. And I realized that I wanted to be a veterinarian like my whole life. And then once I started working as a vet tech, I realized I don't want to be a veterinarian. I want to go into training and behavior, because we had so many animals that were coming in whose owners were like, I don't know what else to do. We have to put them down. And it was very devastating to realize that we had like this mental health care for people, but we didn't have mental health care for animals. And one of the vets that I was working for, and she passed away about 2 years ago. She was just absolutely phenomenal. And at the time she told me point blank, if you're this interested in it, this is what you need to do. And
good for her. And good
I dove,
for you.
yeah, she totally encouraged me, and I dove head first right into it.
That's awesome. And
Oh,
people can actually hear your full presentation at the conference, and that's
Oh yeah.
petcareconference.com, petcareconference.com. And, you know, one of the things that I've noticed recently due to human stress is a lot of people are sitting down on social media and they're spending hours and hours and hours really doing mindless activity. And one of the things
Right.
that we're encouraging people to do is sign up for the conference, because you're going to have 3 days of phenomenal speakers. I actually printed out the speaker list, and a few of them are Jan Spence, Annette Uda, Bill and Amy Hillis, Brandon Hess. I mean, we've got dozens of
Oh
speakers in
yeah.
all different areas of the pet care industry that actually, Stephanie, I would love for you to share a little bit about the conference and why it's beneficial to not only the mindset of somebody to learn more about the industry and how to build their business, because right now times are uncertain. And you want to put effort into building your business, getting the right resources, learning from the people who have pivoted in the industry. I mean, there's people that are doing things now that 6 months ago, never in their wildest dreams did they think they would be doing. They're going to be talking about it at the conference. So tell us a little bit about why, from your perspective, as somebody who is so integrated into the industry, why you feel people should go to the conference. And then Tabitha, I would love for you to also share
Yeah.
why people should come, not only to see you, but to get the education that they need.
well, I'll kick that off, Kathleen, just by saying right out of the gate, we have over 30 hours of education, high quality, exceptional quality education happening at the IBPSA conference this year. Over 30 hours. Not only that, but you have access to those 30 hours for 6 months, right through to the end of March 2021. So you could watch. I mean, this is the one conference, the one IBPSA conference where you don't miss anything. You don't have to choose what session. You can see them all. So I look at that, from my perspective as a kennel owner and a doggy daycare facility. I will use that to train my staff for 6 months after the fact, let alone, the continuing education credits that are available when you go through this. And you'll get continuing education credits right through to the end of March. So I think this is, just such a fantastic opportunity. But I will tell you, Kathleen, you and I were chatting the other day, and I said, for me, the IBPSA conference is the gold standard of conferences. It that the education is the education level is so professional. I mean, I do believe at this particular conference there are 4 lawyers who are going to be presenting. Jan Spence, the keynote speaker at the beginning, and Dr. Corey Knott, the keynote speaker, the closing keynote speaker at the end. Of course, we're going to hear from Carmen and her team from the IBPSA throughout the conference. But I look at the IBPSA conference as the standard that I wish all conferences would meet as far as content, education, making it available. And I'll tell you, Kathleen, you and I have had a couple of times where we've been able to go in through the conference platform and kind of playing around because we are the co-MCs for the entire event. I have never seen a virtual conference where you can actually click a button and go face to face with people who are at the conference, with the exhibitors and the vendors, with the speakers. I mean, when Tabitha's done speaking, she'll be there. She has a recorded session, but she'll be in the chat box answering all your questions live in the moment. And then afterwards, you can click on Tabitha and talk to her face to face and ask her any questions you have. So when I look at the platform that the IBPSA has chosen for this year's conference, I am so excited.
Well, and I want to add something. I want to add something there about the platform, because this was going to be an in-person conference, like many conferences, and many conferences just kind of went by the wayside, and they're non-existent now. And Carmen stepped back with the team, and they said, okay, what do we need to do to make this work? And that's the kind of energy that you're going to get at the conference. It's not like, oh, well, life happened, the pandemic happened, we can't do anything about it, we need to just, give up. Carmen said, no, we're rolling up our sleeves, we're going to figure this thing out. And I have to tell you, I rarely run across people with that level of creativity, ingenuity, and persistence, because she's so committed to the industry. And so it's a virtual conference, so you don't have to pay for hotel, you don't have to pay for flight, you don't have to pay for meals. You can do everything at home or in your office or in your facility. And the price is amazingly low. I have to tell you, I was looking at the pricing and I thought, okay, this is at least a $800 to $1,000 conference. I just got through going through a 3-day conference where I paid $1,200 to be in that conference. 3 days of not even what you're going to get at this particular conference. And why don't you tell us about the pricing, Stephanie? If you don't know, I do know.
I know, right off the top. Now, here's the interesting part. And you know what? Kudos to the IBPSA, because the conference itself is $199 for the whole thing, for
Amazing.
access, for pretty
Amazing.
much for members. For non-members, it's $249. But I will tell you right now that for the first, I've never seen this before. If you are watching this Facebook Live video from Canada, New Zealand, other places in the world, there's actually a discount that will convert it to virtually your currency. So me in Canada, I'm on the East Coast. I'm way over there on the East Coast of Canada. I'm going to pay 199 Canadian dollars. So because we all know that money is a little bit tighter this year, but you know what? I am so proud to be led by an organization and an association like the IBPSA, because they pivoted and said, how can we make this work? And have we not all just done that? Have we not all been doing that for the past 6 months? Had to pivot and find out how to make it work and what the impact is.
Well,
So,
and
Tabitha, why do you feel strongly about the IBPSA conference? Why did you choose this conference to speak at?
So I went last year because it was right here locally. I became a member, I want to say almost 2 years ago, and loved it. I absolutely loved it, especially when I got to sit in your enrichment one, which was just like, it floored me, because I thought I had a lot of ideas and I was creative enough, and no, we added a whole bunch more after that. I've always looked at, from a business standpoint and a personal standpoint, the more education that you have that you can impart on your clients, that you can use to improve the services that you offer, the better. And especially right now, you know, when people look at going to a conference, if you, like last year, you had to pick and choose, so you didn't get to do everything. So you get to have everything this year. And if you can't sit down because you have kids that are in school, or, you know, you're working overtime in your own business right now, you can then sit down and kind of break those up. So if you can't watch everything live, you can still catch up with it for the next 6 months, and you have that. It's a huge and inexpensive investment to make in yourself while you have the extra time.
well, and I also know that we've got a surprise for anybody who signs up today, and we've got the date. You know, we can tell when somebody registered, and anybody who is already registered, you get this as a bonus. And we're giving a really great bonus gift away for anybody who signs up today. You get bonus. Well, actually, you get put in a drawing. Let me clarify that. You get put in a drawing, and this is not a lottery. We need to be really clear on that, but you get points. So you sign up today, you get points. And Stephanie, can you explain to everybody what those points are? I know that they upped the number of points.
Well, I'll tell you what we're gonna do, because Natalie from the IBPSA keeps us on track with everything. She is the all-knowing technical person, and she can report out on when people have registered for the conference. So we have 10 Facebook Live. So if you are already registered for conference or registered today, which is Monday, September 14th, you will get 10 tickets into the drawing. If you wait until tomorrow, you'll only get 9. If you wait until Wednesday, you'll only get 8. So if you know you're going to register for conference, give yourself the best chance to win this prize. And I'm going to tell you what this, Kathleen, can I show the prize?
I think we should have a drum roll. So okay, go for it.
Like, I can't even stand. Anyway, Carmen has offered up. So you 10 ballots, 9 ballots, 8 ballots. So obviously you want to be signing up today. If you're going to sign up, get your 10 ballots instead of waiting until next Friday and only have 1 entry into the draw. Because Carmen is giving away, and we will make this drawing on the first day of conference, but she is giving away, are you ready? I'm so excited. K9 certification, which is $150 value per person, access to the entire level 1 and level 2 K9 certification through the IBPSA learning system for everybody at your facility for a year. So if you have 10 people, that's a $1,500 prize. If you have a staff of 30, that's up to a $4,500 prize.
That's really cool.
and these are, I mean, this education, I'll tell you, I have been through both levels of the canine certification with the IBPSA in preparation to take my PAC exam. I found it extremely beneficial. Like, what a wonderful training program if you're onboarding somebody new and you have them go through the training for canine certification, level 1 and level 2, and that's a lot. You could implement this as part of your onboarding process. So anybody in your facility, if you are the winner of this prize, you and anyone at your facility and everyone at your facility will have 1 year unlimited access to all of the canine certification through the IBPSA. That's why I'm so excited.
Right,
so
right.
If I'm going to do this right here, I don't know if this is showing on the screen, but
Tabitha, do this too.
down.
You got to do it too, Tabitha. Yeah.
Just scroll down a little bit, hit the register now button that's on the IBPSA Facebook page, and hit register now because you'll get 10 tickets into that draw.
10.
And who doesn't want
Well,
who doesn't want access for a year to that? Unlimited.
who doesn't want
That's
10
really
tickets? I mean, yeah.
Right?
Now, and for
Right.
those of you that are watching the replay, we'll have that button available in the description, and you can go to petcareconference.com. I encourage you, go take care of that right now, to get it off your plate and get those 10 tickets, because not only are we giving that particular prize away to one lucky winner, we're also going to be giving some prizes away at the conference that we're not going to tell you quite yet what those are, but they're amazing, amazing, amazing. And so, Tabitha, you know, I would love to get a little more into the whole fear factor that people are dealing with their animals. I'll tell you, since you're here, I'm going to take full advantage of it, and you're going to give me therapy for my dog. We do rescues. We have a lot of rescues, and right now we have a little terrier mix that usually I take her on runs every day. Haven't been able to do that because of the smoke. I mean, seriously, I cannot go outside. So how would people that run facilities work with their clients to help them with things of the nature of they can't get out and exercise the way they used to? I like the idea of hiding food around. What are some other motivations to minimize the fear?
So scavenging games are great. Teaching tricks is another awesome one to do because it gets the dogs physically and mentally active. If you have enough space indoors, setting up a really easy kind of intro to agility setup using some weave poles, some really low hurdles, making sure that the flooring, you know, they're not going more than 4 inches or just right on the floor if the flooring is really hard. You can do tunnels, chutes. You can do a very easy kind of agility ladder, even with the puppy playground equipment. If you kind of rearrange it a little bit, you can make a dog walk. You can set up things that are interactive but low impact on the joints that can get dogs, you know, getting fitness. You can do canine conditioning courses. So for those of you who don't know about them, you can actually sign up to learn how to do canine conditioning. And that can be done inside the house in your living room with almost no space whatsoever, because it's just one-on-one, you and your dog. Or you can do that with all the dogs that are in your facility so that they're getting fun things to do that don't necessarily involve any sort of reinforcement. So you're not, you know, posing a risk if you're doing a group of dogs, and having it be really fun and low key so that they're not stuck inside doing absolutely nothing. And then a lot of times when they're done and mentally checked out, they'll go and drink a whole bunch of water.
Oh,
and it's kind of like your key to go, hey, you know what, your dog is done. End your training session. It's a positive note. Give them a rub down, get them a nice, like, you know, full body massage if they enjoy that. Always taking the cues from the animal, and then, you know, transitioning them into kind of rest time.
Okay.
Makes a big
And if I
difference.
could teach my dog how to give me a full body massage, that would be awesome. But at 9 pounds, it's going to be kind of hard. Her, not me. Okay. So I want to remind people, there's also something else we would encourage you to do, because we're going to pick somebody randomly during the conference. For people who post on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook with the hashtag BeInspired2020 IBPSA. That's BE Inspired 2020 IBPSA. You put a hashtag in front of that, put it on Instagram, take a picture of your facility, take a picture of your team, because not only are you spreading the word about the conference, you're spreading the word about your business. And social media is definitely a way to expand your reach. And that's what we're doing with this conference. We're figuring out for you, Carmen is just brilliant with all this stuff, how you can expand your business reach in very difficult times for many people. And Tabitha, I'd love to find out from your perspective. You're in an area that I don't know how much you've been impacted by the pandemic, but what are you doing in your business, and what are you seeing people do in the pet industry that are staying viable during these very interesting times? What are a few tips you can give people?
So a couple of the things that I've seen people do currently, we're under construction. So we took this time to get things done that we needed to do and get our new facility set up. But some things that I've seen some other people do is everything from photo days. So while the dogs are there, they're actually getting, I know Sit Stay Play did wolf stock recently that was like really cool, and it was really neat. Is, you know, bringing a little bit more of the owners being able to engage with their dogs while they're in daycare, posting more videos, because I find people have had a little bit more time recently to post more videos of the activities that they're doing, not just the dogs sitting around, you know, hanging out in a group, but actually like the bubble games that they're doing, or their mud pits that they're doing, or their snow days that they're doing, like in the middle of July. The things that are fun and creative for the animals, but posting that to their social media or sending it out to owners, so that the owners actually get to be able to see that their dogs are having more fun than just hanging out in a group.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Stephanie, what are your tips for people to get through this interesting time and to grow their business?
You know, I have certainly seen firsthand the benefits of Facebook Live working at our business. We took, you know, our clients through arrival and departure protocols and things like that. But it's really, we spent this time really re-engaging with our clients and figuring out what they needed from us and calling just to make sure that they were okay. We're in a very unique place in the world where COVID in our little bubble of where I live doesn't really exist. We don't have any cases, and we'd like to keep it that way, but we're not allowed to go anywhere else. So, because we don't want to bring it back. So, some of the things that we've done, I mean, we've done some online training, we've done some enrichment delivery. As Tabitha well knows, I'm a huge supporter of canine enrichment and coming up with those creative ways to really engage the dog in the activity that you're doing. So we've spent a lot of time doing that. We've done this is where the canine course that Carmen has offered is so huge, because we spent this time retraining all of our staff. We do have a guest coming up on the Facebook Lives. The dog gurus will be chatting with us. So we went through all of their knowing dog stuff again. We went through all their off-leash dog plays. So we retrained our entire staff during the COVID-19 pandemic, especially at the onset when the world was essentially falling in North America in March. And we had no dogs to take care of, and we weren't the only ones. So I always tell my clients, my consulting clients, I said, you know, don't ever spend your money, invest it. So we invested it in our clients. We invested it. We wanted a return on that. We wanted to make sure that our clients knew that we didn't forget about them. And when I look at this particular conference, I say, you know what? I think, Tabitha, you said it a minute ago, what a huge investment. I mean, it doesn't cost a lot of money, but it is a big investment for the organization, because there's just nowhere else you could get 30 hours plus of education for $200. You just can't.
You know, it comes to less than, I was just figuring, it's about $15 a month, something like that. And, you know, for $15, that's a month that you break it down. And education is so important, because especially now, people need a good focus and target for what they're going to do in their business, because 2021 is going to be an amazing year for a lot of businesses. And if you're prepared for it, you're going to be able to optimize what you're offering to your clients and to the animals, because really, bottom line, it really gets down to, we're here at service. We're in service to the people that we are here to help in grow their business. businesses. That's for everybody watching this right now. And so I encourage you, go to petcareconference.com, petcareconference.com, register today because you get those 10 tickets. And the prize is amazing. Again, if you have 30 employees, that's a $4,500 prize. And get your entire staff signed up for the conference because again, that's going to not only help your company grow, but it supports the organization that has been here for people for quite some time. It's, we're 10 years into this whole thing. It's amazing. And so again, I can't encourage you enough to sign up and use the hashtag BeInspired2020 IBPSA. That's Be Inspired 2020 IBPSA. Put those pictures up of your organization, your team, the animals at your facility, your lobby. I mean, just get creative because we're going to pick based on creativity too. We're going to pick based on cuteness of animals. So I think I'll submit my animals just because I think they're the cutest in the world. But, Stephanie and I have had that discussion. Hers are the cutest, mine are the cutest, but doesn't matter. And so let's talk about who's showing up tomorrow. Stephanie, who do we have for tomorrow's live before we continue on?
Yeah, absolutely. Ken Carmy is going to join us from Canine Grass by Forever Lawn tomorrow. I do think that there may be some surprises in there too, but he's going to tell us about his product. He's going to talk to us about his experiences in this year's conference with IBPSA and previous years. Tell us a little bit about some of the benefits of the canine grass product or synthetic lawn product, and help us to understand, cleaning, care, maintenance, installation, all of that kind of stuff, and how you can get the best investment out of that type of a purchase if you're looking for synthetic lawn. But again, you know what? You want to tune into all of the lives. We have 10 phenomenal speakers. Some are vendors, exhibitors. Some are like the very talented and knowledgeable Tabitha Davies, some speaking at the conference. I just couldn't be any more thrilled with what's going to happen with this virtual conference.
So Tabitha, before we wrap this up for today, what is your message to people about just what they can look forward to in their own businesses with what you know about trends in the industry? And give us a little bit more about what you're going to be talking and sharing specifically at the conference.
Well, I think one of the things that people can really look forward to is being able to grow in a time when you would not think that growth is possible. We are in a pandemic. There's a lot of stuff going on with the fires all across the West Coast here. And, people's lives are completely changed. But I think with a lot of the information that you're going to be able to bring back from the conference is going to help you to, I don't want to say critique is not the right word, but kind of change up what you're doing now to meet the needs of the people, meet the needs of your staff, and meet the growth potential that your business still has. And I think that that's huge.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
So Stephanie, what are your closing thoughts?
You know what? I'm first of all, thank you so much to Tabitha Davies from California. Both of these ladies over on the West Coast, kind of biting their lip a little bit in anticipation of how the fires in that area are gonna impact us. But my closing thoughts really on this. So thank you, Tabitha, for making the time to be here with us today. I really, really appreciate it. It's so nice to see you face to face. But it's been a long time since the last conference, so it's nice to see you again. But you know what, really, and by the way, Tabitha, I do have one more question for you.
Yeah.
Do you actually have a pig named Gwendolyn?
I do, and I have Christopher P. Bacon.
No.
Oh,
Yes.
oh. What kind of pigs?
Yeah.
They're both potbellies, and all of our animals are rescues. So we have a farm filled with rescue animals.
Nice.
But yeah, we do have Gwendolyn and Christopher P. Bacon.
Oh,
that's awesome. I really wanted to know that about you on a personal level. I was like, does she really have a pig named Gwendolyn?
I
think that's
do.
awesome. So
that
anyway,
so awesome.
My closing thoughts for today. You know what, guys? If you have not, one of the things that I talk to people about is because they haven't had to buy airline tickets or hotels. They haven't really thought about it. They're like, oh, I'll get that conference ticket tomorrow. I'll get it later. Well, you know what? Again, I go back to, if you're going to get it today and at least give yourself a better or the best chance to actually win that phenomenal prize. And again, just to be clear, anybody who is already registered before today also gets 10 tickets. So they're not losing out. So as of midnight tonight on September 14th, anybody already registered gets the 10 tickets, and then it switches over to 9 tomorrow. So I'm very excited to be here with Tabitha and my good friend Kathleen. Excited to talk to Ken tomorrow, same time, noon Eastern, on the IBPSA Facebook page. I can't wait to have another great session with Ken tomorrow.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. And be sure to like this video, thumbs up if you find it in YouTube. Go to petcareconference.com, petcareconference.com, and be sure to use the hashtag BeInspired2020, IBPSA. Put those pictures up. Let's see how crazy people can get with their pictures, because that's what's going to draw attention to you in your business and all you're here to do to serve your market.
Kathleen, we did have one more question. Gina McGrath was wondering off of our Facebook Live if there's any tracks for pet sitters. And looking through the speaker list, I think there's a lot of really great information for pet sitters out there. I'm really excited to see the presentation on compassion fatigue. A lot of that is a topic I don't think I've ever seen covered anywhere else. So Gina McGrath, to answer your question, I think there's going to be a lot of relevant information for pet sitters. And if you want more information on the speakers, the list that Kathleen has, you can go again to petcareconference.com and just click on the list of speakers or the sessions, and you can read about all the sessions to see if they're applicable or would be beneficial to you, because there's no way that this high level of quality education isn't relevant to anybody and everybody.
Absolutely. And I want to add in, with the way the conference is set up, it'll blow your mind. I mean, I would buy a ticket just to go see how the conference is set up, quite seriously. We have networking opportunities. We have breakout sessions where you're going to get to have fun with Stephanie and I on all the breaks. And we got lots of surprises set up. We've got the breakout sessions. We've got the keynote speakers, but the networking, I know from years past, people have said one relationship that they built from IBPSA completely turned their business around. They were able to build collaborative partnerships. They were able to find that product that they had desperately been searching for. And it's like, oh, it's here. So the setup of the conference is something that will blow your mind. You're going to love it. Go ahead and sign up. This is something you don't need to even give any thought to, because you know that education is something that grows a business. And if it's important to you to stay viable in 2021, it's important to you to sign up for the conference.
Agree.
All right. Well, Tabitha,
Kathleen,
delightful.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being on here with us today. Everybody who's watching, don't forget, put it in your calendar. Join us at noon Eastern tomorrow, same time, same place, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.